huge heart. I enjoy being around him. And today he's not dressed like Moses. So I'm intrigued to see what he's bringing to the table today.
That was funny, right?
Let's welcome Greg Woolley.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Presidente. So, isn't this interesting?
It is.
So now we went from interesting, now I hope to engross you and get you interested. You know, we have the opportunity in life to either be a creature of habit or a creator of habit. A lot of my life, I've been a creature of habit. My interest leads me to watching TV, timing out, and then I become programmed by the world. If you're just not controlling your interest, you're controlled by the world then. And the world doesn't have your best interest at heart. The system, in my eyes, especially when it comes to interest, is meant to keep you in bondage. You know, they say that the loaner is a slave to the lender. And how many times do we find ourselves borrowing just because that's what everybody else does? It's like the way of society today to make ourselves a slave to debt. So whenever I'm thinking about interest now, I control where my interest, and then I can grow in that area. And so that has to do in many areas of my life. The compound effect, Einstein called the compound effect the ninth wonder of the world or something, and it's really, really true, because our little daily habits are what can make us or break us. If I'm overeating, I'll be overweight. If I'm over drinking, I'll be an alcoholic. If I'm overdoing anything, then it's like the little habits that get you there. So if I read 10 pages a day, how many pages will that be a year? Any idea? 3,650, right? So on the opposite side, if I take a loan and I'm paying 24% on that loan, how about if I sold you something, I said, you can have it for $1,000, but how'd you like to pay $3,000? You'd be like, oh my gosh, are you crazy? That's what we do so very often, though. We swipe that card, and then Murphy's Law comes in, and we say we're going to pay it off, and we don't pay it off. So I'd like to really focus on the Rule of 72 today. And I don't know whether, have you guys heard of the Rule of 72 before?
No.
So the Rule of 72 would put forth that your interest rate divided into 72 is when the money will double. And so your interest rate that you agree to pay a lot of times, whether it be on a car, a house, a TV, whatever that be, just makes the decision on when that money will double. So if I loaned you $1,000 a day and I talked you into giving me 24% interest, which on a credit card that could happen, 3 years will be the timeline if you didn't pay it off quickly. 3 years, it turns into $2,000. So if to back that up again now, the Rule of 72 says that if I'm getting 1%, it'll take 72 years for my money to double. If I'm paying 3%, it'll take 24 years to double your money. So to dig into that a little deeper today, I brought you a paper so we might go through. So say you were from a nice family, and I have a nice family, but it's not that nice, and they gave you $10,000. But the thing of that $10,000, you have to keep it for 48 years. 48 years. And so what would you do with that money?
Put in an investment account?
Well, hopefully so. But so a lot of people with the first thing they would say, well, I'll put it under my mattress. Well, that's depressing times, right? And that's very depressing whenever you think about that, because you have inflation today. If you just have the money and you're not giving your money muscles, then you're only working for your money and you're not having your money work for you. And that happens a lot because people don't really think about having their money work for them. And you'll never get wealthy if you don't have your money working for you, unfortunately. I mean, you can save all you want, and inflation will beat your butt every time, especially right now, because I don't know if you've walked in and tried to buy any piece of meat in the store and you're like, oh, my heart, be still. And you walk out with 3 bags and $100 and you're like, how can this be? But anyhow, back to the rule of 72, and my grandma gave me $10,000 with the rule of that being that if I have that $10,000, I have to keep it invested for 48 years. So at the end of 48 years, how much would that $10,000 be? Any guesses? Any guesses? That would be, I can't remember my numbers now, unfortunately. So that would be,
You
that
tell
would be
us.
$40,000.
Oh, I was gonna say that.
And that sounds pretty good at 3%, right? But if you're a savvy investor, even in a CD right now, you could probably get 6%. So if you had that money in there for 40 years, anybody think about, so you've doubled it from 3 to 6%. How much would that money be at 48 years then? Anybody have an idea?
80.
How much?
80.
Close. So it's went from 40,000 to, so if I was your banker, like a lot of bankers
60,000.
do.
60,000? No?
Nope, way low again.
Oh.
And this is where it really works against you, because if your bank is investing your money, like they do, they don't just let your money sit there. They loan it and they invest it and they do like that. So if you're only getting 2 or 3% and over a long timeline, so the actual number is $160,000 in 48 years, which that's pretty nice, right? But if your money is sitting in the bank for that long, they're probably getting 10 or 12%. So let's move it to 6% now. Any idea how much your money would look like in 48 years at 6%? And we had 160,000 at the 3%. What would the
Hold on, confusing us.
okay.
The 3% is 40,
The 3% is 40 at 48 years.
okay, and then 6% is 160. So
Yeah.
now we're talking about 12%.
Oh, now we're talking about 12%, yeah.
There you go.
Okay, so 12%, because this is like the target number if you're investing to at least get 12%. What would that look like at the end?
200.
360.
And you would think
200,000.
that, right? But the compound, that's why Einstein called it the seventh wonder of the world on compound interest, because your money would turn into $2,560,000. And to me, that's a huge difference. And if you're not making your money work for you, somebody else is having your money work for them, and you're paying the price on it and not becoming wealthy. So hopefully that sparks your interest and engrosses you to get a little more InterestED, to get educated on interest. Thank you for being with me today.
Thank you, Greg.